Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and or good night, depending where you are in the world today. Welcome back to your Friday evening's entertainment. It is our session zero of our brand new Vampire the Requiem second edition to London After Dark campaign. We've had a few hiccups already, but hey, that's what session zeros are for. So without further ado, let's unmute everyone. Let's kind of get right into things, and we'll see how we go. Hello.
Allah.
Hello.
Hello? Oh my god, it's loud this time.
Yeah, it's full volume, sorry. So Sammy will be joining us when her computer decides to start playing ball. As is standard, her computer's like, no, new thing that I'm excited for, fuck you, I'm gonna reboot. Or hard freeze, so it has to be rebooted. So yeah, hello, welcome to World of Darkness, or Chronicles of Darkness specifically, for Requiem. If you are unfamiliar, it is a game about vampires, funnily enough. We're playing it in a near future setting, so circa 2035, give or take. This is a setting that we have played in before. There is another playlist on the channel if you want to get a bit of a flavor for it. It is actually, I think, one of the most popular ones that we have on the channel, so it's definitely worth a watch, I would say. We're going to do things a little bit different this time around, focus on a different area of the city, introduce some new players, both characters at the table and NPCs as well. But we do have a few things that we need to get out of the way. We need to create some kindred, and I need to refamiliarize myself with all the terminology used in this game because it's very different to what is our staple, which is Dungeons and Dragons, for the most part. I think Sis has some limited exposure to World of Darkness games in form of mage.
Yeah.
And I think
very, very limited.
Queso is coming in raw to the World of Darkness. Everyone else has played before, but it has been some time, so we will need to kind of go through everything again. Just to recap on the setting front, and we will go into this in a bit more detail. We're playing in a city called New London, which is in I want to say Connecticut. I think it's Connecticut.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. But it is not the city as it is today. We are playing in an alt history world. There are various things that have sort of gone on differently. Let me know if the music is too loud, by the way. It's quite loud in my ear, but hopefully it's not too loud for you guys in the chat. The long and the short of it is, alternate history, World War II didn't quite go as we know it, and that's kind of been the big diverging path of the timelines, if you will. Essentially, the Reich took over Europe and started to invade the States, and essentially took over most of the state of Connecticut, and then bombs were dropped in Germany, and they basically backed off, retreated back to consolidate in Europe. The state of Connecticut was devastated, and there was a bit of a refugee crisis because essentially all the countries that were now Germany were no longer a part of Europe as independent nations. They were essentially gifted the land in the state that it was, and have since rebuilt as an independent, albeit nestled within the bosom of the US's kind of territories, completely sovereign, independent nation that is New Europe, and New London is the main highly populous city where we basically play our games in. We have done a vampire game here. I believe, if memory serves, we did do a werewolf game as well, and this will be our second vampire game in territory. We did also play a game of Hunter in actual London, which was very fun. I enjoyed it anyway.
It was great.
I thought it was really, really good. So we have some concepts of characters. So I think maybe we should go around the table and kind of get like a vibe of your character, at least who they were, if you have the idea, like before they turned, kind of who and what they're about. If you want to share, or if you're aware of how they were turned, then get that as well. But you can keep it in the future. I'm just interested more in your character's life before the chompening happened. Why don't we go from left to right? Sass, that'll be you first.
Caligrow grew up, I think it was the 1920s. She was the daughter of a police officer, and her mother worked also in the precinct as a bookkeeper. So she had a great interest in like her father's work, so she was interested in joining the police force as well. But at the time, women were kind of frowned upon in that kind of work. But her father had a friend who was a private detective, and she was interested in that. She's like, well, if I can't join the precinct, I'll do my own thing. Against her father's wishes, she was following up on stuff for his work, and that caused her to get jumped one night. And she would have died there if it had not been for her sire, who was the father of her, or friend of her father, who saved her in that moment, but it kind of broke her, and she was forced into torpor, and she was declared dead at that point.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. So she's technically still, in vampire terms, she's been to sleep, so she's coming out and she's fresh, essentially. Like a newborn kindred, if you will. Newish.
Yes.
Okay. Queso.
Oh, right.
God,
So Alexander
I can just see your grinning fucking avatar, and it freaks me out every time. It's so wrong.
Yeah, so Alexander
I hate
is sorry. Not sorry. He is, or before he was a vampire, he was a forensic specialist with the local department. However, he also had a terrible gambling habit that led to a lot of debts, so that when medical issues arose, he was not in a position to pay for any of the treatment, which was when he was approached by interested parties who wanted someone who could interfere with investigations when necessary. And that is how he became what he is now.
Embraced. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sis.
Ooh, okay. So, my character is Jordan Blackhurst. He started out as a bartender, a career bartender. He spent most of he had a fairly normal family life. He has two brothers. both of which work in various places in the city. His brother is a teacher, and his other one is a police sergeant in the city. His father disappeared without any indication where he went, but his mother is still around, happily divorced from his disappearing dad. So he basically was working at this place called the Dark Repose, basically how you'd say is one of those back alley bars. They sorry, one sec. Sorry about that. This back alley bar called the Dark Repose. Basically, it's a sort of like a den of iniquity, sort of like where people go to drown their sorrows, where they don't wish to be seen or heard, or places where deals take place, but it's obfuscated by the shadows and the dark and the dim lights, and just a all too well just back alley place. Anyway, he'd been working there for many a year until he was alone one night working the bar, and a quote co-worker was leaving his shift, and he didn't realize his co-worker was working on that night. He didn't realize he had a co-worker working that night because he never seen this person before, never knew. And being a very curious fellow that he is, being a bartender, he's listened to a lot of stories, seen things, heard things that would break relationships, cause a lot of trouble for people of society. So he knows a lot of deep, dark secrets because alcohol tends to ply the wheels, so to speak. Anyway, so he just followed this gentleman out the door, and that's how he was turned. He was turned by a Mekhet, if that's how you pronounce it correctly. It's basically the shadowy, the spy, they lurk, they find information, that sort of thing. And he doesn't remember what happened. He knows that he was turned. He just, the costs, the knowledge was the payment of such things, of why he was turned and the reason he was, embraced. And yeah, that's it.
Back in the game, Discord, because it just takes its time. Very interesting. So you will have an idea of how your characters work and kind of why. How do you know how involved? Like, do you we're phrasing this. So let's start going through my checklist. When Sammy gets back, we'll get her to introduce her character and kind of give us an insight into who they were before they were turned as well. Oh, speak of the devil. See a picture appear. Been slow, I understand.
There you are.
Okay.
Hey, hello. Welcome.
Welcome back. Okay, well, before I go into anything else then, do you want to take the opportunity whilst your computer is playing ball to introduce your character? Essentially, I want to know who they were before they were turned, and then if you want to share a bit more about how they were turned, you are welcome to do so, or you can keep that information close to the chest. It is entirely up to you.
So I created Seraphine Dupont, So basically, her family obviously stems from French heritage, but she was a social, like raised in a wealthy socialite home, so having to attend, the galas and being made to appear a certain way and behave a certain way, to be a very put together woman. But she's also very intelligent, so she liked her sciences, and she specialized in biomedical science. And so her goal was to study the human body and how to improve it, how she wanted to become like create the perfect people. But she also, through how her parents wanted her to be, she learned how to be a very charismatic person, to be able to get people to do what she wants them to do just by talking with them, to be very to talk at the right time, to know the cues of people. But she was turned at a gala. She met this very rich, handsome looking gentleman, and when they went for a walk in the gardens, basically she was I can't remember the word that you use for turning, whatever it's called. Embraced, thank you. And she was embraced, but when she woke up, she was just left with a handkerchief to find him. So that is one of her, I think it's called aspirations, is to locate said individual. I'm not going to say his name, as that's part of the thing, but yeah.
And don't nobody panic. Get into what aspirations are before we start, so it's fine. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you all for sharing. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's outline some stuff about the game, and sort of set the tone, really, just so that we can kind of manage people's expectations or what we'll be playing now. As is pretty standard for World of Darkness games, there is we attach a mature warning onto all of these, because when you're playing games of, I'd say more hunter, werewolf, vampire, that kind of stuff, there are definitely horror themes. Vampires feed, all sorts of bad things happen. It is a very dark world that you all live in and will be hunting, investigating, exploring, and partaking of. I personally like to run my vampire games with a lot of emphasis on political intrigue. So alliances, betrayals, favor trading, that kind of thing. I do also like a lot of mystery investigation, clues, slow reveals, that kind of follow the rabbit hole kind of things. There is, as I kind of skirted around, there will be a lot of horror themes, personal horror, gore, violence, and other details. So we probably will touch on safety boundary stuff next, but I would stress as well that this is probably not going to be a combat-heavy game, although there are opportunities for that. This is definitely more of a find out what's happening for the plot, deal, trade, scheme, betray kind of vibe. With the, I'm assuming that's fine for everyone before I tick that box.
Yep, that's fine with me.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't think.
Can I just add? I really hate the way the reference book is written. It's just
It's
I think
Yeah.
we've all complained about that.
I think that is the only real complaint I have.
It's just a lot of fucking waffling, is what it is.
There's a lot of words. Howard Stimmy like, that's a lot of words. Shame I won't be reading all of them. Well, unfortunately, I have to read all of them. But yeah. It is very wordy, and I find it difficult to navigate. But bookmarking and whatnot will be your friend here. Okay, so safety and boundary stuff. There are going to be horror themes. There are going to be gore themes. There's going to be... I tend not to lean in towards anything of a graphically sexual nature, but there's opportunity for that. Things that will pop up is there will be violence. There will be descriptions of graphic scenes where people have been ripped apart and all sorts of things like that. There will be themes of body horror. Nosferatu in particular have a potential to be, if not mentally difficult to be around, then physically, like, they can also be very hard to look at, grotesque. There's nasty themes around them. Some of them not so much. Tato's Nosferatu was essentially a porcelain doll. So her freaky Nosferatu thing was that she was basically this porcelain doll, so she didn't look lifelike, didn't really blink, and sometimes when she would go into rooms, there would be these static discharges on the radio, and electrics wouldn't quite work, and stuff would just generally be on a fritz around her.
Oh my god, I'm trying to watch the television. Get out.
Yeah, fuck off. In the Hunter game, the group met up with a Nosferatu. They were a bit more of the, rather than kind of just being like rough and difficult to look at, they definitely had like a whiff of the undead around them, so they smelt like a dead body. And they had, I think the description I used in the scene, I'm just trying to give you some examples. But the descriptor I had for them in the scene was that as the group were getting closer, obviously the smell became a little bit more pungent, but the flies that were buzzing around them, one of them landed on his face, crawled across his eyeball, he blinked, and the fly then crawled across the inner surface of the eyeball. So you could definitely...
It's awful.
Which, if you could visualize that, it's a rough image to see, but... I mean, that might not sound that bad to some, but it is, like, it's that kind of vibe that you kind of will come across. There are times where you may have a loss of autonomy, if you've been dominated or something like that. What I would say is that's going to be no different to when we've played D&D, and you either get mind controlled or you get command or something like that goes on you. So I won't make you do stuff that you're uncomfortable with. If there is anything uncomfortable, then usually, as is put in the thing, we usually fade to black or whatever. I will stress that there are definitely some psychological horror themes, and given...
You know what I'm not comfortable with, Zhang?
What's that?
You rolling crits against my character. Please. If that ever were to happen, I want that to fade to black immediately. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So we do have... I want to stress this. So we're all adults. This is a mature audience. There are certain lines that people have. Hard nose. We don't want that. There are things that people have as veils, which we've already established fade to black. So there may be like flirtation leads to something else, especially with vampires are very selfish in nature, and you have like a whole clan that is essentially it's not always sexual, their deviancies.
That's me.
But they are they're hoes. Yeah, fair enough. That's a fair point.
Sammy's a hoe. What?
Yeah, Sammy's a hoe. Yeah, there we go. I mean, Serafina is a hoe. What are we saying? So usually what will happen is we'll get to a point when the obvious is going to happen. We don't get into graphic detail. We're just fade to black. It happens. It's fine. There are some other themes that are going to be available, sort of apparent in this game, just generally environmentally speaking. As we've already established, this territory, whilst it is a modern and bustling city, it is built upon the foundations of essentially what was an occupation by the forces of Germany from essentially World War II. So you can assume that there may be things out there. I'm not saying we will come across them, but they're in the world, and the world is not a nice place. Right? World of Darkness is a darker reflection of the world that we're in, or the world that we had. So anything that you can kind of creatively think about in that sense might be something to come across. That being said, I think that kind of establishes that. If there's anything that anyone is really like, this is a big no for me, then you can drop me a message and figure it out.
Sorry, Zhang. Delete my character right now. I'm leaving.
Just do it, yeah.
Just do it. Sorry.
Okay.
Like, I just can't stand the fact that you're here.
It's just me, right?
Just
okay. So, that being said, we're gonna next look at. Is there any questions or anything at that point before we move on?
No.
Okay.
I think that is there like a specific example that has been used in the past that may come up in this game?
I have not yet had anything that anyone has gone, I am very much not comfortable with that. So I don't think we've necessarily pushed any hard boundaries with anything, but we definitely have had there have been sexual encounters in the previous games. Just fade to black when it gets to an uncomfortable point. There's no like chicken or anything being played as to who can outgross who or anything like that. It just gets to a natural point and you go, yep, that's cool, we'll move on from that. Essentially what I was getting at with the sort of the geographical themes is expect that you're in an environment where World War II, so like 80 years prior, the foundations of this city were essentially rebuilt on a Nazi occupation. So there is potential for those kind of themes to be expressed here. Just letting you know. Okay, let's start looking at character creation. I'm gonna see if I've got a spare sheet set up like I usually do. Sis, what's the character name on your sheet? Oh, you've just made a new one.
Jordan.
Yeah, you've just made a new one.
That's
fine.
Oh, that's why I was confused. I was very
Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
I just picked one.
Yeah, you're good. I'm just gonna have a sheet open so that I can reference it myself, and so I get a sheet even though I'm not necessarily going to be a player in this. So it helps me to visually reference it, and I can have one open for chat. So if you're not familiar, this is for chat's benefit. This is how the Vampire Requiem sheet looks in. So this is how the sheet looks in Roll20. You have your dice rolling up on the top right. There are different types of rolls that you can have, but the system itself essentially is built around building up a pool of dice to roll to see how many successes you have, which equate to how well you complete a given task that you are looking at. There are a few things at the top of the sheet that we'll go through first, and we will kind of then figure out the attributes and where to allocate dots, and rest of stuff and there. So, first things first, pop your name on the top of your sheet. Probably all have done that. The player so the name is your character's name. Your player is obviously your own name. Chronicle, if you want to put something in, you can put New London After Dark, as that is the theme that we're doing with this one. We then come to a mask and a dirge. So these are essentially your mask is your general day-to-day kind of, I don't want to say persona, but it's kind of your the face that you show to anybody. The dirge is more like your true self underneath, kind of your natural vibe, if you will. Your mask is a persona that your character publicly portrays, especially with humans, and the dirge is your persona that represents who your character really is. You might default to this with kindred, you might default to your mask with everyone, entirely up to you. It is more relevant later on. The reference for this in the rulebook, I think, is in 84 to 87, which kind of gives you some stock archetypes you can pick from, which I guess I should have that open. Probably be really useful to have open.
I just realized I did do my mask and my dirge wrong.
You did? Why? What did you do?
Head backwards, did you?
Huh?
Head backwards?
Kind of. After it developed a bit more, I realized other ones would be probably more fitting for the kind of character I want to play.
That's fair. So the link for the rulebook we put into the Discord, so you should all have access to that. I think I did put it in before as well, so I don't want to go through all of these, but take some time just to have a look at the available ones that are there. It does detail it a bit more, so whilst you're having a look at them, I'll read out what it says here for the benefit of chat. So, your mask is the bearing kindred, which is what you are as an embraced vampire. You find the term kindred to describe yourselves. So, mask is the bearing kindred present to the world. It's the facade, the pretty lie. It's the excuse for why you cannot stay for breakfast in the morning. It's the reason you give the cab driver for dropping you off near an abandoned warehouse at strange hours. And it's your excuse for barely touching food. There is a thing called traditions, which I will cover in a moment. But the first tradition reads, "Do not reveal your nature to those not of the..." Doing so forfeits your claim to the blood. And kindred do take this concept seriously. It extends beyond the purview of their unnatural existences. Revealing oneself is a form of vulnerability. Vulnerability is a quick route to final death. Now, one of the reasons why your mask and your dirge are important, as it is a tool for you to recover your willpower points. Willpower is like a currency. We will cover that in a minute, but we'll go through this kind of step by step. So, anytime a vampire overcomes a small hurdle in defense of your mask, you will gain a point of willpower.
You're not sure if it's just me, but your voice sounds a little bit wobbly.
Yeah, you sound like your signal's a little funky.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me check that my mic is actually on my mic and not on something random. Okay. Seems to be okay. If I...
It almost sounds a little bit underwater-ish.
Is that on the stream you're talking about or on Discord?
On Discord for me.
So not Streamlabs.
Is it sounding okay for stream? Is anyone able to tell
I'm
me?
not currently listening to the stream.
Okay.
I have to have it muted off.
If I move my mic here, is that any better?
For now.
Okay.
Sounds good for now, yeah.
Okay, cool. It's just right in front of my face, so if I start to get really loud, I'm sorry, let me know.
You deeper in that mic again? Damn.
A little bit. It's down on my lower part of my desk now. So I'll just cover that last bit again for the benefit of the anti-warbling. So your mask and your dirge are kind of tools that you can use to regain willpower. Willpower is essentially a resource that you can use to overcome certain things in the game, like a frenzy, which we'll get to, and you can also use it to boost your dice pool, and then your mask and your dirge are kind of also a way you can regain your willpower points when you spend them. So anytime a vampire overcomes a small hurdle in defense of their mask, you regain a point of willpower. When committing atrocious or existentially risky acts in defense of your mask, you regain all of your spent willpower points. Your dirge is the truth behind the lies. It is your vampire's secret self. It is who they are when the lights are off and nobody is present to witness their dirtiest moments. It is your dark indulgence. It is the self-loathing that you will never admit. It is your desire for an end, and it is your need for companionship. The dirge gives the kindred a sense of identity. After all, their very existence itself is a lie. In the dance macabre, truth is rarely more than a pipe dream. For most vampires, honesty only exists within oneself, and defending that internal honesty helps to maintain perspective. Anytime a vampire withdraws from their outside life in defense of their true self or their dirge, you regain a point of willpower, and again, when committing terrible, damning acts in defense of your personal identity, you can regain all of your spent willpower points. The reality is, you will probably have more of an idea of how your mask and dirge play out for your character, and I will essentially, if you say to me, hey, can I get a point of willpower back because I'm acting like this in defense of my mask, I'll ask you to sell it to me, and if I think you've sold it well enough, you'll get your point back. If not, oh well. That makes sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
There are
There
are several archetypes that you can pick.
Just the way you're reading it out, the way it's written, my brain just goes no. So
yeah, I understand. So, the TLDR here is your mask is your public face, your dirge is your true self, and if you do something selfish to kind of act in the interests of either one of those, then you could potentially get willpower back.
I assigned, so you know how I've mix-mashed my concepts? I've literally just assigned a character to a mask and one to a dirge. So if I just act out like said concept, then I know which mask it is.
Yeah.
My dirge is super buried.
So there is a list in the book, starting on page 84. That goes all the way down to 87, I think. Yeah, it goes down sort of most of the way through 87. There you will find some examples of potential masks and dirges. It is not an exhaustive list. You could potentially come up with one of your own, but it's probably easier, especially if it's your first time round, to just pick ones that fit. And it gives you examples there to sort of show what you would do to gain a single dot of willpower back or all of your willpower back.
So, do we pick 2?
Yes, you pick one for your mask and one for your dirge. Your mask is kind of your public face, right? And then your dirge is your inner self.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, I really should read the descriptions on some of these.
Usually helps, yeah.
Yeah, because no offense to whoever wrote this fucking book.
Oh, the book is very wordy.
Stupid, no. Because if you look at Deviant and Junkie, and then you read the descriptions, Junkie sounds more like Deviant.
Davers are junkies, though.
No, but I'm saying what it's called, Deviant just sounds like a rebel. But then Rebel is a whole different thing.
Yep.
I do believe
And
it,
then
like,
Junkie sounds like Deviant. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you
the
are
names
able
of-
to, if you want, to come up with your own. Just you have to work with the GM for it.
Yeah. The storyteller, please. Storyteller.
Storyteller.
Nope.
Sorry, my bad.
okay, I've changed my mask to Junkie because that's actually more what I was going for than actual Deviant. Because apparently Deviant's just, I'm going to break all the rules and being a criminal. That's what that is.
I'm gonna do chaos for chaos' sake, is the deviant.
Chaos, chaos,
Yep.
chaos.
Okay, cool. Let's have a look at what is next. I need to put my plan back on. I'm starting to get quite warm. Okay, so your concept.
Sorry.
Your concept is kind of like if. What do we usually do? These are like your trope. So if you have like an idea of, what's a quick way of thinking it?
I'll go with a detective.
Yeah. So this is kind of just this is more of your like your idea for your character, your vibe. So for Sammy's character, the concept is essentially mad scientist meets, I can't remember what the other one was, but
Desire.
Mad scientist meets desire would be the concept for Sammy, right? It's
Mad psychopathic.
okay, sure, but I'm just trying to give you like a vibe. So that's literally just like it. You can do that, or you can kind of just put it in as like a TV trope. You know, you could have like John Wick is like, you could have John Wick as a concept. It could be anything. So it's just like you don't even need to put anything in if you really don't. It's not that important. It's just kind of give you an idea of what your character is about. Your clan is one of the 5 main clans. I think you already all know which one it's going to be, but it is your Deva, your Maquette, your Nosferatu, your brain
Gangrel.
Gangrel and
Gangrel, yeah.
Ventru. There's the other one. So essentially, your clan is, contrary to what it says on the sheet, your clan is your bloodline. Is the one that you inherit from your sire. So your character has no control over what their clan is. They inherit it from whoever turned them or embraced them, whichever term you want to do. In terms of you as the players, pick from one of the 5. I think you already all know what you're doing anyway, so that's pretty fine. You then have I would say ignore the bloodline, because the bloodline is kind of like subsets of your clan, and we don't really have any of those, so that's fine. Your covenant is, if you pick one, is your kind of your societal or political leanings. Now this is it's kind of important if you want access to certain things. Blood magics, for example, are usually dependent on you being part of a particular covenant to get access to those. Now, I think some of you already have an idea of what you're wanting to do in terms of said covenants. If not, let me know and we can kind of take a quick look at them for you.
Yeah, so I had the thought of the Lance.
Blancaire
one.
Sanctum, yep.
Yeah. Because the part of the concept I had was sort of a sadistic lean, where he's kind of embracing the horror of his own existence.
Yep.
And makes himself feel better by sharing it with the worst possible people.
Yeah, their vibe is about punishing the wicked of society and kind of feeding off of that. So they are like, I mean, I guess some of them might not be as religious as the others, but yeah, absolutely. That can definitely work, and yeah, you get access.
Whether that's as an independent or in the covenant itself, I wasn't sure.
You can leave a covenant once you've been in it, and you would retain your learnings of blood magics and things. However, you potentially create a target on your back, especially if you start looking at potentially joining other covenants and things like that. So for ease, I would suggest staying in a covenant, even if you don't necessarily want to go full kind of like creature on it. You can certainly be like I do this in the name of, even if I'm not 100% like vibing with it. It's more to get access to dish out punishment to people and call it divine retribution or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was leaning towards that, and this more comes in later with the disciplines, because I'm debating on at least the starting disciplines, whether to throw in a bit of Theban sorcery or...
I don't know if anyone else is actually looking at blood magics. Is anyone else considering having blood magics?
I haven't even got that far.
I don't even know.
Okay, well, there we go.
I think only with blood magic is what, Theban, right?
There's also Kruak, I think, as a blood magic.
Yeah.
I think only certain covenants have access to that.
Yes.
Like my covenant has access to aspect, celerity, and obfuscate.
Your disciplines.
Yeah.
We'll start touching.
Yeah.
on
I
that.
have to to do mine. I have to start at the very fucking bottom of something of the dragon.
We'll get to it when we get to it.
We
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
get to it. Yeah.
It is a later thing to consider, but that's...
Okay. I mean, that's good to have an idea about it, though. So, okay. All right. So, has everyone else got their covenants locked in? Or they're pretty confident about them?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look here. What was this?
I just read my own Bane. That's what I was doing.
Okay, so let's go through our okay, so the quick reference sheet actually says to go through aspirations first of all. So let's touch on that quickly. Aspirations are goals that you wish to achieve, either long term or within a session. Now, they can be simple or they can be complex, depending on what you want to do. But think of them as a way to access the thing known as a beat. What is a beat? I hear you cry out. A beat is essentially a way of you getting XP. XP is what you use to, air quotes, level up, and that's why that is important. So, there are various ways that you can obtain beats, and one of those is through your aspirations. So, aspirations are goals. Short-term aspirations are session. You should only be aiming to achieve them within a session. When I say a goal or an aspiration, it could be to find out something about one of your coterie. Your coterie is just another name for your party. So, it could be to find out about, I don't know, you could want to know more about, for whatever reason, it's like how did Alexander get those scars, for example, or maybe you're investigating a particular subset of an issue and you want to know why Dave doesn't like Frank or something like that. I'm not going to entertain any. My short-term aspiration is to survive a session. That shit was low-hanging fruit last time, and I'm not playing that game this time. So you're advised to come up with 2 short-term aspirations and 1 longer-term aspiration for your character. Now, this is obviously harder to do from the get-go because you won't necessarily know too much about each other.
Where do we put them on our sheet?
If I remember correctly, we were just putting them under the specializations, I think. If not, let me check.
This is for what again? Sorry.
Aspirations.
Oh, I have it in my notes.
Like notes?
Yeah, the character notes for the handout notes. That's what.
Did I give everyone a handout note? Yeah, I did. So
I have one, yeah.
In your
it's just,
that's probably a good place
it's
to
just
track.
strange that it's not on the sheet, if you're meant to have these things.
I understand. Yep. Sassa's got a good point. Put them in the mysterious note that you should have assigned to you. That way you can just keep track.
If you go to page 3, it's got like the list of flaws, derangements, alliesments, and shit. If you go to the bottom, you can add.
Or you could just add it in there. Yeah, that's true.
You can add a box.
Yeah.
And title it aspirations.
That works.
Okay, I'm gonna add my Bane as well, because...
Okay. Are we clear on what aspirations should be, roughly speaking? Or the concept of them, at least?
Not sure on short terms just yet, because I don't really have an intro
We don't know each
into what
other
we're
yet.
doing yet. Yeah.
I've got 2, at least.
Now,
I have a hard time with short term aspirations sometimes.
yeah, I know. So the way aspirations work is at the end of the session, we'll ask if anyone met, or beginning of the session, we'll ask if anyone met the aspirations from the previous session. You get the opportunity, if not, to change it to a different one, or if you did achieve it, you'll get a beat and get to fill in a new one instead. Just on the subject of beats, briefly, I did like it in Hunter where you got a group beat for activities, so I will be using that in this game as well. Group beats are essentially if you get a crit, like a critical success, which in this case is 5 successes on your dice roll. Rather than just getting a beat yourself, we'll do a group beat, so you will get a beat at that point. You can also opt to botch your roll, so if you're going to fail, you can force it to be a critical failure and get a beat that way. But obviously that means that something really bad is going to happen as a result of what you were trying to do. So you can kind of get like a dot of XP, a beat, but some really bad shit's gonna happen. So it can be fun, but it can also really drop you in the shit.
I don't want to skip ahead. It's a question I just because I'm thinking about it. So I see all the points, right, for like the attribute and skills and traits and stuff.
Yes.
Is there any base ones, or do you just get like allocated a certain amount to start with? Like I'm just
spending points.
We're about to touch on the attributes, and we're just about to move on.
No, I wasn't asking for the full explanation. I'm just asking, like, you know how D&D has base depending on like your clan, like your race and your class and stuff. Is there something similar in this, or is there just a set selection?
Your blank slate, if you will, that you get is a dot in each of the attributes. That's what you start with, and then you get dots to allocate to whichever groups you want. So we are going to touch on that now. So we may as well just start going talk about it. So
yeah, because I was like, how do you work out how many dots you get for whatever?
Yeah.
Like, where is that written? What is that under? That's what I'm meaning.
It's page 82. I would suggest looking at. So for your attributes, now if just to put it into like D&D terminology, your attributes are like your stats essentially, and it is broken down into 3 groups. You have your first block is your mental, your second block is your physical, and the third block is your social. And each of these have 3 stats. One represents your power, your finesse, and your resistance. So essentially, power is like your base number. You're smart. Your finesse is for more intricate sort of technical things, I would say, and your resistance is more of like a defensive aspect of your stat. You all start with 1 dot in every single one, and then in addition you get the following to allocate based on what you want to specialize in. So your first, you have a 5 dots, 4 dots, and then 3 dots to allocate into each block. So you get 5 dots that you can put into your primary focus, I would say. So if you want to be a particularly socialite character, you would...
Can I ask, is it categorized from like horizontally, vertically, like?
So you get the 3 boxes under attributes. Your first
there's boxes, and then you got the things on the side. That's why I'm asking, does it go like
left to right?
Like in the boxes, or
it's
in lines?
rows as opposed to columns for each individual one.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, because you've got them in the boxes, which would be columns, but then you've got the power, finesse, and resistance on the side. You see what I mean?
It's
like
a
it's
table.
not.
So each row is your strength in that particular attribute. So for yourself, you want to be a socialite character, but you also want to be smart as well, right?
Yeah.
You're not particularly going to be a physical character, are you? Am I right?
I'm just asking, are we going in lines or boxes? Just because of how
I'm
the
not
sheets
sure
like
what-
down.
Okay, so I'm trying to establish what you mean. So what so you pick a box to begin with to focus on. That's going to be your primary group.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Is it in the rows, like power, finesse, resistance, or are we going by the boxes? That's what I was asking.
Okay, so you go box by box, and for the first box that you want to be your primary focus for your attributes, you have 5 dots. So if you want your primary focus to be in social skills, you're looking at the third box, presence, manipulation, and composure.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, I was getting to it. And you also, if you want to, I don't know, it depends on what order you want to do it, but you have, say, we'll take Sammy's character to begin with. So you're going to be looking at presence, manipulation, or composure. What is it you want to... You said that your character is quite social, able to manipulate others, and kind of get what they want, right?
I can do it, John. All I was asking, are we going by lines just because the power, finesse, and resistance part
I'm trying to use yours as an
rows.
example for everyone else so that they can understand what you're doing. So, talk me through what you're thinking for your dots.
I was thinking more presence and manipulation.
Okay. So you would, which one's your? You've got 5 dots. How do you want to break that down? Like 2, 3, and 2? 1, 3, and 1, or 3 and 2? Like how would you want to?
I was probably gonna go 2, 2, 1, but
okay. So what you would do is in the third dot for presence, you'd click there, and that should fill out that line. And then you'd click on the second dot, and then the third dot in composure. So your presence would have 3 dots, your manipulation would have 2, and your composure would have 3.
you mean 3, 3, 2? Because I was gonna do 3 in manipulation.
Okay, yeah, that works too. If you make a mistake, you just go back to the dot you actually want in the line. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No offense. Why is the power, finesse, and resistance on the side at all?
Because that's telling you what the attributes actually are within each box. Your presence is essentially the power stat. Your manipulation is the finesse stat, and the resistance, your composure is your resistance stat. It's the same for the 3. So it's basically a big table which includes those 3 boxes.
Why didn't they make it into a table?
Can we stop complaining about the fucking books and the layout of the sheet and all that shit? I get it. It's not perfect. Let's just move on. Okay, so if everyone's done their first stat, you get 4 dots in your secondary focus. So again, using Seraphina as an example, you've stated that you want her to be a scientist, essentially, right?
I've done my dots.
Okay, so, and you've put them in the first box for intelligence, wits, and resolve.
In intelligence, I got 3. Wits, I got 2. Resolve, I got 2.
Okay, so you put your 4 dots into it. Definitely not. And then
I put my 3 in the middle one.
3 in the wits.
No, like the box.
Okay, fine.
Because I'm going by box. I'm not going by rows because you said to go by box. So I'm going by box.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Has everyone else got their second set of attributes sorted out?
Yes, probably.
Okay.
And they flip before actual gameplay, but yeah.
Yeah, you can chop and change these before the game starts. That's absolutely fine. And then you have 3 dots remaining for your third or your tertiary attribute. Tammy's already done hers, so we don't need to ask her what's in there. But you don't have to have more than 1 dot in a particular stat. You can put it all into 1 if you want, but
I got 3 in stamina.
Once you've got your attributes, I would suggest putting your dot focus on the skills associated with your focus. So, for example, again, and I'm not going to ask Sammy to tell us what she's putting them in, but her focus was on the social attributes, which means she should probably put her next set of dots into the social skills, because that's what she wants to be good at, and fits with, her character's background. You get 11 dots for your primary group of skills, to put them wherever you wish to. But you will see in each of the skills that if you do not have this in brackets underneath, it says you have like a minus number if unskilled. Essentially what that means is that will take that number of dice off of your pool if you are rolling and you haven't got any dots in any of the particular skills that you're trying to do. So for example, let's go with, I don't know, firearms. Sammy's character has no dots in firearms, so she's trying to shoot someone. She would have, and I'm trying to remember, it was dex for shooting, or was it strength?
There is a
Dex.
attack option,
Sure.
which I think.
Essentially,
But I
how it
think
would
it'd
work
be-
is you'd select your attribute, you'd select firearms. If she didn't have any dots in the skill at all, then she would have -1 to her dice pool because she's unskilled in that particular area in this hypothetical. She may have firearms, I don't know, but that would just be an example in this case. Put them out wherever you think it would be worthwhile doing, and yeah, there you go. So there's an example. Dexterity, weaponry. I'm assuming weaponry was unskilled, therefore you have a -1 to your dice pool. A success, by the way, on your dice roll counts as an 8 or above, and it will automatically it will automatically do what's called exploding or rolling again. So by default, when you roll your dice, with the exception of what's called a chance roll, which I'll cover quickly in a second as well. Hey, congrats. Your number of successes will be basically how many 8s you roll from your dice pool. If you roll 5 successes, that's considered a crit. And if you have no successes, that's just a fail. Your dice can explode. So if you roll a 10 on your die, it will roll again, counting the 10 as a success. And then, however, like, if it rolls a 10 again, it will just keep going and going and going and going. So you can end up, I think we had, it might have been Johnny's character roll, or Brad's character rolled, it was like 7 dice, and they ended up with like 15 successes or some shit. It was wild how many explodes they got. So that's kind of how that works.
How do these rolls even actually work?
Critical success. I literally just explained how the. What do you mean?
Yeah, I know, but like, how do you like? What does? I didn't. You get 0 successes.
Yeah, so it's a fail.
Yeah, like mine's not even like rolling dice, so.
If you mouse over the number of successes, it'll show you what you rolled.
Yeah,
If you have no
it's
points
not-
in it and it's a -1, it's basically a luck roll.
Or they call it a chance roll, right?
Yeah.
So a chance roll. Oh, there you go. It rolled for you.
Yeah, and it just keeps going 0, 0, 0, 0. So
Yeah, you have no points in it, and you have a -1 modifier because you're not trained.
So
Basically, you have no idea how to shoot a gun.
yeah, you're not familiar with it. You get what's called a chance roll if you have no dice in your pool and you're trying to do a thing. So in the example that say you have, I don't know,
what's animal Ken?
Animal handling.
Animal handling. Yeah.
Essentially animal handling. If you essentially had like, I don't know, one dice in intelligence and you were trying to roll science, which you had no dots in, you essentially would be on like -2 dice, right? And you can look those up in the book. It would basically give you like a negative dice pool. In those situations, you would roll what's called a chance die. And essentially it's you either succeed or you fail. But I think it's you have to roll a 10 on the chance die, and if you don't roll a 10, it doesn't work. Yeah, expression is basically performance. Yeah. Is all that making sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Your next pool of dice. Fuck, I'm trying to find the skills thing now, and I've lost the page. I think it's 1175 is the things. Yeah, your attributes are 163.
The skills follow immediately after.
Yeah, well, putting stuff next to each other would make sense. Don't count on the layout for this to make sense. But you'll find all of the attributes and skills on 163 to 164, and it does go through each of them in explanation. As I was saying, what I would suggest is focus your skills on whichever attribute you have specialized in, and put your blocks of stats in that kind of order. You don't have to do that, and in fact, you could, if you've got like, you could have put them in your like alternate. So if you used your physical attributes as your dump stat, essentially, you could put your focus of your skill dots into physical stats to kind of balance that out if you really wanted to. But I would suggest focusing on your specialized area of attributes and matching your skills to that. Sorry, it is 1174 in that order. So 11 dots in your primary skill block, 7 dots in your secondary one, and then 4 into to your
Where the
third
hell
one.
did I have 753? I don't know why I thought it was that.
753. Yeah, that's a lot. I don't
It's
know.
low.
I don't know.
I could have sworn I read that too. I'm not joking. I could have sworn I read that at some
543
like,
is your
notification thing.
attributes. 1174 is your skills.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to be wrong.
No, I'm looking at the quick reference right now, and that's exactly what it is. Are we all done with skills? No?
Sort of. I'm kind of.
I'm still trying to find the page, but I've only just found it, so...
Okay. Specializations are something slightly different.
I know, I was just writing in the chat, so I didn't
Okay.
have to scroll all the way back up to
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
page stupid.
I'll be happy to have more points in what I want to have points in, so...
I can just cover it briefly whilst you're looking at your skills, and give you something else to think about, because, why not keep making things very complex? So your specializations, you get to pick 3 things that you are really dialed in, you're really good at. These aren't listed in the book. These are quite literally things that you can apply to your dice pool if it fits your specialization. So, Sass, you've played it before. Have you got any specializations in mind?
I have 2 currently.
Okay.
Investigation, tracking, and empathy lies.
Okay. So, particular focus on if people are lying, you would get an extra dice when making empathy checks to that effect, and tracking in particular. Yep, that's good.
Still need one more
I-
that I can think of.
I have 3. I don't know if this makes sense.
Go for it.
Okay, so
Let's put it out in there and discuss.
all right. So the first specialization is investigation, unveiling truths.
Okay.
So revealing truth.
Okay. Yeah. So
I don't know
that's
if it's
kind of
too
like
broad
insight,
or just
right?
not yeah.
I mean, you could just put insight. That would probably make sense. Or investigation, insight.
You and I need to discuss our characters, Sis. I think we have some overlap.
Oh, do we? That's okay.
You're coming from different.
They'll be very
covenants, aren't you?
different play styles, but
Very
Some
different walks of
overlapping.
life too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's fine. Yep.
And the other one is a socialized wallflower, like a sort of you sort of
I know.
sit
Yep,
there,
no, yep.
go unnoticed.
That's fine. Yep.
You know,
I think that is a merit as well. But yeah,
is it? Oh,
if
okay.
I
It's a
think
mech head thing. You have obfuscate.
obfuscate is also a thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's one of the
I do
disciplines
have.
that does have that. We'll get onto that in
Yeah,
a second
I do
as
have,
well.
yeah.
But yeah, basically specializations is just you're really drilling down into a thing that you want to be good at. And what being good at means is, in game terms, is you literally can argue the toss to get an extra die. Keep it vague if you really want. Drill it down. It's an opportunity to get an extra dice in your pool. You don't get anything extra from it. There's no other benefit. It's just there you go. So for I think it was either Tato or Aiden took larceny lockpick, just to be really good at picking locks. So that was another example. It's that kind of thing.
And I did choose a third one as well.
Okay.
Stealth bartender work ethic. To do your job without to go about doing your job without being noticed.
Okay. That kind of is that not Wallflower as well though? I mean, you can have it. I would say you're missing out if
You
you.
may open up your specializations once you realize what obfuscate.
I don't know. I just chose just thought of what based on what the character was. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll change. I can go back and change them once I've seen more, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Does it have to be a skill? Like if I did perception listening.
I think that would be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see any reason why not.
Basically, you want to tie it to a skill roll.
So I would do a medicine forensic.
Yeah, medicine. If you're doing a forensics test, you could do medicine forensics or investigation forensics would probably work too. But medicine forensics, I think, works better.
actually, I think I thought of a better one instead of the last one, since it seems to
just to make it make it easier for yourself. Tie it to an actual skill roll.
Yeah, so I've got streetwise, ear to the ground.
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah.
And I have trained observer, so that also helps. So
Is there a
what's that? Where did you find that? Sorry, I was still on
is there
skills.
an actual list of example specializations?
There might be a Google list somewhere.
God.
These are just made up off the top of my head, so
Okay, so ear to the
Yeah.
ground doesn't necessarily mean anything.
it doesn't mean anything.
No,
but
essentially-
in
These
he's
are
giving it a flavor name.
these are things that you can argue the toss about fitting in with your character's stuff.
Like your
essentially.
concept almost.
Yeah,
in a way.
exactly.
Okay,
See-
so I'm just gonna put forensic in specialization.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, forensics, perfect example. So, it would be you could have forensics be a part of investigation. It could be a part of medicine. It could be a part of science.
Oh, I
so
see.
pick
I
which
see.
one you drill down in, and that's the area you would specialize in. So forensic medicine. Are you?
Like Sammy could do persuasion flirting.
Yeah, exactly. She could just be a massive slag, which, to be fair,
I've ruined my
it's desire,
specializations
right?
for
So if you're
massive
flirting
slag.
with someone to get a persuasion check, you could add a +1 with it. if
Correct.
It's a flirtatious
Exactly.
way.
Essentially, it's a way of you saying, "Hey, can I use my specialization in, I don't know, fucking Aboriginal knitting to get an extra dice roll in my investigation into what thread I'm supposed to be pulling for this particular thing?" I'd be like, thematically, I get the link, but no. But that's a really shit example. But do you know what I mean? If you can kind of just be like, "Hey,
I could
can
use
I-"
my specialization in Shibari for this binding of the
Shibari.
There you go. But-
finding of this captured person we've got.
yeah, but it's that kind of fight. Essentially, it's an extra little tool to play with, essentially, for you guys.
I'm sorry. You imagine just rocking up to interrogate someone and they've been shibari to a chair.
These are the only knots I know.
Actually, they give you examples under the skills.
Do they actually have it in there?
listing.
Okay.
Yeah. Like larceny has specialties of breaking and entering, concealment, lockpicking, that kind of stuff.
Aren't those also lockpicking's a merit later on, isn't it?
Probably.
It'll
There
give you a
is
bonus to it.
large list of them. But yeah, there's nothing stopping you drilling down into something you have a merit in to get more dice.
Okay.
It says brawl. It says specialties could be biting.
Look at
Really
that.
good at
Okay,
Really
yeah,
fucking,
Makes sense for vampires.
yeah.
Just saying.
Real
I
dirty
love how
fighting.
one of the socialized ones is church lock-in.
God damn. How we doing on our skill dots?
Got them.
They're probably not gonna change.
So What I will say is, if in the first few sessions you're like, oh shit, that's not quite how I thought that was going to work, I don't mind changing it, but that will I will save the first 3 sessions that you have a blanket. I can change this to a thing. It wasn't quite what I thought it was, or whatever. After the 3rd session, locked in.
Okie dokie.
I think that's fair.
My character, I don't have really many physical attributes I want to do because she's a princess. So.
Well, you also don't have dots in physical. Like that's absolutely fine. What I want to very briefly jump over to disciplines. Now, with disciplines, you get 3 dots. You have to spend. Let me just double check. I remember this correctly.
1 dot in your.
You have to put 2 dots into your in-clan disciplines. The 3rd can be used for either a 3rd discipline within your clan, or if you can persuade me, I'll let you pick another one. So, who wants to pick first? Who knows exactly what their clan is and maybe has a good idea?
Yep.
Okay. So, Sammy, your clan is
Deva. I was going to put 2 in Majesty, 1 in Celerity.
Celerity? Okay, yep, that's fine.
Yep. 2 to be a hoe and 1 for being fast.
Okay, cool.
You gotta hop out those windows when the husband comes home.
Yeah, because Majestic is seductive or commanding sway. Gotta have that aura. Do what I want.
In before striking looks merit 4 dots, Sammy. I can see it now. Okay.
I just wanted that whole desire vibe, like I can make you want to do what I want you to do.
Yeah, that's very manipulative.
Make you think it's make you think it's your idea.
Yep. Okay. Sass, you picked
Mekhet. So I have Aspect, Celerity, and Obfuscate.
Yep. Okay.
I'm gonna go 2 in Obfuscate, and I think 1 in Celerity.
Okay. So celerity is speedy, right?
Did you do the same thing?
No, I did the opposite.
Okay.
I did 2
Oh,
in celerity and 1 in off skate.
Okay, yep, cool. Well, the Scissor's done theirs as well. Queso?
So I'm debating between 2 in Obfuscate, 1 in Nightmare, and so 2 in Obfuscate is definite. Okay. I was thinking of putting 1 in Theban Sorcery.
Okay.
Just because, like, they've got rituals. They're interesting.
How many dots do we get? We get 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm not sure. Because, like I said, I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually go with the sorcery or just go all in on Obfuscate or... So I'm not sure where I want the last dot.
Okay. But you have an idea to pick between.
Yeah, one of the 3.
Okay, well... I think you're the only one currently looking at a blood magic specifically, as opposed to, just general vampire traits. So that would definitely give you that niche.
Yeah.
If you wanted to explore it, that's fine. What I will say is that blood magics tend to be more expensive to level up later on. So, as opposed to regular disciplines, they come in at 4 experience per dot.
Whereas the discipline is...
Whereas a discipline is only 3. So essentially you're looking at 20 beats instead of 15 for an extra dot in the sorcery. So you can either look at it as, if I get a dot in the sorcery now, that's essentially saving me 5 beats later on that I can put in something else. Or you could say I take a dot in the sorcery at the start, and then when I get my first 3 XP, I take a discipline dot as opposed to a sorcery dot.
Okay, that makes
Entirely
sense.
up to you. Just on the note of experience, I know I briefly covered beats earlier on, and we will jump back to merits before we sort of move on. So, beats, or essentially equate to 5 beats is 1 XP. And you can use, there is a link to what you can use XP for somewhere. If it's not listed again, I'll find it and share that again. But the way you get beats is, one, as established, we got group beats in the Hunter game. I'm going to use group beats again in this because I like the mechanic. And a group beat is essentially if you roll a critical success, i.e. 5 successes, that's a group beat. Done. Everyone gets a beat. If your character fulfills an aspiration, you take the beat, and then at the end of the game session, you can replace the aspiration. If you get a condition, for whatever reason, so a condition can be like a debuff, or something that you have to resolve off the back of a bad roll, or off the back of doing magic, or something like that. You can get a beat once you've resolved it. Some conditions automatically provide you with a beat, so you can get them that way. Anytime you fail a roll, you can opt to make it a dramatic failure, or essentially a botch, and take an individual beat there. If your character takes lethal damage in one of the rightmost health boxes, take a beat. You don't get any beats from bashing as a vampire. Every session for turning up, you get a beat, and any time your character risks detachment, essentially a humanity roll, you take a beat as well. As I stated as well, 5 beats is 1 XP. Now, we do add in some extra opportunities to get in beats because we tend to have shorter story arcs than a full-on, year-long campaign or whatever. We tend to have them a bit shorter. So I also add in a community beat. So if you're watching, you can vote in the comments and give one of the characters a beat off the back of that. And you will also get asked as players at the end of a session to drop me a message with who you think was kind of the standout player that session, and give them a beat, or if they did something that you particularly enjoyed, we'll give them a table beat. Essentially, you guys vote, and whoever gets the most gets an extra beat. It does mean you kind of level up a little bit quicker, but I think that's fine for the shorter format that we have. In terms of experience costs, I think so. I will need to double check that. I think you have to pick at least 2. I will double check though. No, I take it back. It says at least 2 must be within clan disciplines. So you can put 3 into one of them as long as it's a clan
Save
one.
up my experience.
You spend your XP in the following ways. So you don't necessarily level up in the same way as D&D. I keep referencing D&D because it's the thing that we're all familiar with, but you don't have like you're not a level 1 vampire or a level 2 vampire or 3, 4, etc. The way you level up, air quotes, is you spend your XP and you just become more powerful. Now, you can bump an attribute by 4. It will cost you 4 XP per dot. You can have a dot in a merit, 1 experience per dot. A specialty will cost you 1 experience. Another skill will cost you 2 experience, so 5 beats. A new discipline is 3 XP. If you pick an out of clan discipline, that's 4 XP.
Can we have this written down somewhere?
It is, I'm sure, has been
Page
listed.
84.
It is on 83. Is the one I'm looking at.
Oh yes, that is 83.
It's part of the quick reference section for the rule stuff. Has anyone ordered Dracul? Was that
Yeah.
Samian? Yeah, okay. So if you're picking another coil within that, within your chosen mystery, it's 3 XP. If you choose another coil that's outside your mystery, that's 4 XP.
I don't understand what that is. So.
You remember it correctly, with you have a particular area within the Ordo Dracul which you are exploring, investigating, experimenting in.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
called a coil. So,
Okay.
we'll need to look at that and find out what coil you pick. But essentially, the Coils of the Dragon is a secret that you're investigating to take over, so that you're obviously vampire cursed, walk in the sun, or can't stand in water, resistant to garlic. The exposure to sunlight thing is essentially a mystery that they're trying to investigate, unravel, and overcome, so that if you can become like a day walker, then you are not only embracing your curse, but you are dominating it and overpowering it. And that's kind of like what the Ordo Dracul try and do, is they have all these things that vampires see as potential weaknesses. They want to dominate and flip them on their heads, basically, to deal with them. So there's a few examples. We can talk about it, it's fine. I don't want to take up too much time because we're already 2/3 the way through. Blood magics are all listed there as well. You want to take another dot in your humanity, 2 XP. If you want to increase your blood potency, technically that's the closest thing to a level that you will find in the game. Your blood potency is kind of like your strength as a vampire, and a higher blood potency gives you access to sort of more things. Very old vampires will have a higher blood potency, but they'll tend to have a lot lower humanity as well. And you can buy a dot of willpower for 1 XP, or you can just do something in defense of your mask or dirge. 89 is the blood potency thing. So just to touch on that quickly, your blood potency is the power of your vitae, your blood. Your higher blood potency allows you to spend more vitae per turn and essentially bump your skills up. You purchase additional blood potency points of character at the expense of all 5 of your merit dots. So you can forego a 5 merits at the start to increase your blood potency, but it's a dangerous game because your feeding becomes difficult. You need to have a higher quality of food, and you're resistant, so you're affected by sunlight. You take more damage from the sun. You potentially have to fall into torpor, go to sleep. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it. But yeah, basically every 50 years your blood potency goes up by 1. Everyone will be starting with 1, and if you have enough XP to bump into it, or if you want to use 5 merit dots at the start, you can. The last bit of the character sheet really that we need to cover, well, there's 2 things I think we should cover. One is your merits. This is a big one. Merits are like your, I would have called them skills, but they're not skills. They are more of your, they're like your special abilities, like your features, if you will, from D&D. So these are things that your character had. Traits is a good way of putting it. You get 10 dots to spend on merits, and there is a large list of merits within the book itself. I think page 109 is where they start. You get 10 dots. Some of them have prerequisites, so keep those in mind. And if those prerequisites aren't met, feel free to move your skill dots around to accommodate them. But there are some pretty good ones in there. For example, your social-oriented kindred
Striking looks.
tend to have striking looks, at least 2 dots. You can have status merits, which is essentially your renown within a particular faction, be it your covenant or it could be within the city itself, stuff like that. There are combat merits, there are mental merits, like there's all sorts in there. So interestingly, there is also things that you should probably consider in there, like your resources, which is essentially how much access to money you have, simplified terms. And there is also a haven merit, which is probably also worth having a look at. But a haven is essentially somewhere to rest, a safe place. Whilst you're having a quick look through those, I'll try and explain some of the other details that are on there. So,
Take a quick break too.
Yeah, do you want to take a quick break now before we do more info dump?
Yeah, probably.
That's
So
probably
some
a
of us
good
can
idea.
catch up. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of merits.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna run to the toilet then. I'll
Break,
pop the
break,
intermission
break,
up,
break.
and we'll be back in 5 minutes, give or take. But yeah, if you're not going anywhere, look through the merits, and we'll be right back.
If you guys have any questions too, feel free to ask me. I might be able to answer some.
Just like looking at this and going, what do I pick?
You specifically, since you work at a bar, would definitely look into resources. Like 1 point of resources, as they say, is like spending money here and there, and then like 2 points is like middle class-ish.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I haven't even gotten that yet. I'm in the, I'm just going down the list. I was also thinking Haven as well, because...
Haven's a good one, yeah. Any questions from Semi or Queso?
I am going through the shit.
My brain's just not working. There's just too much. So
What was the last thing you got hooked up on?
no, I'm like, it literally stopped working. Like
It's a lot for starting out.
Yeah, it's like it's just in one ear, out the other. So it's just like, okay, I don't. Yeah. I'm just trying to do merits so far.
I mean, I've got...
I don't understand merits, so like, if you don't have anything in it, then what?
Then you're not trained in it. You need to spend, you have 10 points to spend on any of the merits. And they show you how much they cost inside the merits as well. Like trained observer is 1 point or 3 points. So I can spend 1 of my 10 or 3 of my 10 on trained observer. And each point you have in it gives you additional options for it as well.
Okay.
I wish I could copy and paste out of the book. and it actually be formatted in a good way.
Perception roll. I don't see that in any.
It's a perception is wit's composure.
Ah.
hmm It's one you'll be making a lot of.
It's not bad of those. So take 3 points in trained observer and get 8 again.
Yeah, basically. I have the 9 again. Or 3 dots is 8 again. Yes, I have that too. It's a bunch of bullshit. I love it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, wit's composure. 8 again. Damn, that was a horrible roll.
0 successes.
Oh my god, I have so many.
So many.
So I was clicking the roll button to test rolls and stuff, and it wasn't doing it, and I forgot that there's a macro options that pops up every time.
Oh yeah. The
So I've
modifier
got
option.
like 15 modifier option windows open because I had the window popped out, so it popped the macro options thing underneath it.
That's funny.
I was like, well, damn.
I'm currently using Josh as like my holding place for all of my stuff I'm picking.
Help me!
He's getting a lot of different messages right now.
She's spamming me!
I am. It's great. Mostly I'm redoing all of the what's the word? Formatting on it.
Okay, I'm back.
Excuse me. Welcome back.
So, if I pick resources 3,
Resources.
You own the bar.
I own the bar.
Yep. Sounds about right. What page is that on, Merits?
Resources is 124.
What I would suggest, by the way, is for all the merits that you end up picking up, put them into your journal page or your mysterious note, whatever it is. Unless I can't remember if there is a merits.
Next to the disciplines on the sheet.
Yeah, I mean, like it's easier to have like the description of the merit in your mysterious note for the ones that you have.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's what mine looks like currently.
Just to have them as like a quick reference, so that you can just explain it straight up, as opposed to, oh shit, I need to go find the book and then go to page 100 and whatever it is, and then try and find it. It's just available.
I see. Yeah.
That's just a thing to to make life easier. Okay, so resources 1 to 5. If you had 3 dots, yep, okay. 1 dot is a little spending money here and there. 2 is comfortable middle class wage. 3 is a nicer upper middle class.
I think 2 would be more suitable for him, actually. I was thinking reading, like, he's not rich. He just works a job.
Yeah.
So I think 2 is fine.
So it's worth noting as well that money in of itself isn't something, you know, I'm never going to track how much money you have. I'm just going to, if you've got 2 dots, if you have dots in resources, I'm just going to assume you have spending money available based on what your dots are. So,
like, he can get a cab or order an Uber or whatever.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
meals, etc. But he can't go out and, you know, put a bid down on a house or something.
Well, yeah, you could go to a broker and get it, but you can. So when you buy things as well, like weapons, if you find the weapon table, it will have like a resource dot next to it to see if you can afford it or not. So it won't say, oh yeah, that's like $5,000 or whatever. It would just be like must have resources 2 or resources what, like, do you know, that's kind of the vibe.
So I guess because he works at a bar, that's a place. I guess you can put down safe place 1 for that.
Maybe you have a room there.
You live above it.
Or he got a room there after everything. Maybe he can't go out anymore. Yeah. Because like a bar, I'm just thinking back of places I worked at. At the very least, places that handled lots of money. Every night at lock up, it was a bar. The doors got barred, which we put a bar across the handles and then padlocked them. Alarm security gates on the big doors and small doors. Yeah. Well, the place kind of just doesn't close though, so it's just kind of open all the time.
Maybe you've just got
Anyway.
like a little space in the basement or something, you know, out of the sun.
Basement. Harry Potter this shit. Let's go.
Yeah.
Go under the stairwell.
Let's see.
With official standing in formal respect. Oh, his brother works at the police department, so status 1.
Yeah.
Now I gotta wonder if your
There we
character and my
go.
character has any crossover, like knowing each other wise.
There's
Quite
3 of
possibly.
you that might, yeah.
Well, I don't know if we know any cops from the 20s. Maybe.
Probably gonna do resources 2. I have my own personal little hovel that I do business out of for detective work.
Yeah, you'd probably
then
have your own
Haven
little
1.
agency or something. I think Haven 1 requires safe space 1.
Ah, you're right. Safe. I had to put a point into expression just for one of my disciplines. Excuse me.
The other thing I wanted to touch on whilst you guys are doing this is I wanted to briefly touch on touchstones.
Mm-hmm.
So touchstones are important they keep you grounded. You utilize a touchstone as a way of preventing. Let me start again. Touchstones. I'll just read it what it says here. It makes sense. So touchstones are grounding points for kindred. Kindred aren't human nor monster. They walk a line between the two. You're constantly fighting a battle with the beast inside, essentially. The beast wants to take over, unleash the power, the animalistic hunter that lives inside every kindred. Whilst your humanity is how sort of in tune with who you used to be, how in tune you are. Now, the less humanity you have, the more feral and animalistic you become, the more likely you are to be hunted down and killed because you're a threat to the masquerade. Essentially, the more feral you become, the more likely you are to let people know that vampires exist, and that can't be allowed to happen. So, your touchstone is something that helps keep you grounded, essentially. It's it's the rope at the top of the hole that you might fall into sometime. The example here is, imagine Trevor, a person born in a small town. Grows up, he goes to school, and then he finds a career and moves to the city. By all measures, he was once a small town kid, but the city's done a number on him, and now he's all action, item list, memos, soy lattes, and subways. Eric grounds him. Eric was Trevor's high school crush. They'd sneak off during football games and make out beneath the bleachers. They never lost contact. Even when Trevor moved to the city, Eric kept texting him. They'd call each other every few weeks, talk about whoever they were dating and what they had for lunch. But it was always just a little weird. Trevor would tell Eric a joke about the city traffic, but Eric had never seen gridlock in his life. Trevor would talk about the aggressive merger he was working on, but Eric's work experience began and ended in a local grocery store where his family were friends with the owners. This helped Trevor keep it real. It reminded him of his roots. Sometimes Trevor would visit home. He went to his high school reunion and had a little fling with Eric. He visited all the old stomping grounds. He wandered through the lackluster malls. He tried to explain his job to his family, even though they had no idea what he did. He could always visit the old hometown, but he was always a visitor, never a resident. In essence, Eric was Trevor's touchstone. The city was the dance macabre. Small town was his human life. So, touchstones essentially are a way for you to re-engage your humanity, especially if you've had a little slip into the frenzy zone. Touchstones, however, aren't allies. So this is a game term. They are not considered allies. They're not considered a contact. They're not considered herd, a mentor, or a retainer. Essentially by default. If you want to buy a social merit to reflect a secondary function for a touchstone, you can utilize them for such things, but you would need to have the merit of the respective thing to say this person is this merit, but they're also my touchstone.
So, in that regard, so the bar that Jordan works at is his touchstone, because this is where it all began. This is where he worked. This is attached. This is what he keeps attached to.
Yes.
In order to use that bar as a merit, I'll have to say pick safe haven or something like that.
Correct.
Safe place or
Correct.
Resources.
Yep.
Okay.
Resources is more cash credit, financial.
Well, that's where he
stuff.
gets his financial resources
but,
from. I should say. But, yeah,
safe place or haven would be a physical location. I'm trying to draw the distinction between resources is like your ability to acquire things, whereas your safe haven is your physical place to go.
Right.
One thing I would also say is that when you do turn, you are very conscious that some people go cold turkey on the life they leave behind because it's safer for them and it's safer for the people involved. You can choose to stay in touch with them, and indeed, you could potentially use old family members and whatnot as a touchstone, but that is inherently dangerous because them still being a part of your life implies that they can be manipulated and used against you by somebody. They become a threat, so it's kind of like a fine line if you have your family still in your life. 7 successes, congratulations. Oh, I see you using 8 again.
Yeah, we're looking at
The
observer.
bullshit trained observer. We noticed everything. Except for my role.
That was one thing I wanted to do, and then the other thing is we need to just make sure that the rest of your stuff looks good. So your willpower, I think, is automatically calculated. Your health, again, same. Yeah.
So status comes on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's within a specific group as well.
And you
Right.
can you get more merits like with experience points?
Yes, you can.
yes.
And you can
Okay.
have, so when you take a status, or a I think there's another one for a group like thing. But whenever you take a dot in that, you have to specify what group it is you have status within for that merit. And then if you have status within a different group, you would take a separate merit for that group and put dots in that. So, for example, if you had status local PD, 1 dot, that would be to do with your job. And then you could have status within your covenant, that would be a separate status merit dot, however many you wanted in that. So you don't just have status 1 dot and it applies blanket to the world. It applies
Right.
specifically to a group or an organization or a belonging. Does that make sense?
Or just trying to figure out where, like, how much 2 dots is versus 1 dot, rather than,
Specifically in status.
yeah.
So I would say
It talks about it having pull, like, specifically if you have 2 dots and someone has 1 dot of retainer with, like, a cop buddy, you can basically squash them trying to implement that individual.
yeah, you would be
once
like
chapter or whatever.
so essentially every dot you go is like a rank within that group.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, 2 dots within the local PD or whatever, you would be looking at being rather than just being, I don't know, desk jockey, whatever, fucking basic bitch on the force, you potentially be like a sergeant, and then or a detective. Then a 3rd dot you would be maybe a captain, and then another dot you go up and your pool goes up with it. There is a guide to dots somewhere within the merits thing just to kind of emphasize the different levels, but it is a very loose example. Yeah, I'd need to. What page is the status one?
Status is 123. 123.
Frantically scrolling through the pages. See. Yeah, so it might not necessarily be like a rank. It can be informal, so it can just be you wield influence or privilege within that based on your dots.
Yeah.
Then it does explain, obviously, there that you'd have to have difference in different ones. So, I mean... Oh, I do apologize. Striking looks is 1 or 2 dots. I thought it was 2 or 4 dots for some reason. That's my bad. Sammy's got that for obvious reasons. Yeah. It says there the thing. Essentially, think of it as the more influence you have. I would say you wouldn't have more than a couple of dots within your covenant yet.
Okay.
You are going to be new, so I wouldn't put like
I haven't put any
crazy dots in a covenant. You don't have to, obviously, but if you do, that means you've just started progressing up the line, essentially. How many dots were you? What dots were you looking to put into your? What status dots were you looking for?
I was just trying to figure out what would, because half of this is, well, what's the character concept? How many dots would I expect to have there?
Sure.
And half of it is, well, what does that actually mean? Because, like, yeah, if you've got, if he's in there and he's expected to fuck with shit, he probably doesn't have nothing. But he's probably got like 1 or 2.
Yeah. I would say in your covenant, maybe 2 at most. If it was to do with your profession, you could definitely have more in that.
Yeah.
Just giving myself a mentor, don't mind me.
I would say also, just to go through these very quickly, your health should be the sum of your size, stamina, and resilience. Your size is 5. Your stamina is obviously whatever you picked, and your resilience is...
And it should automatically calculate as well.
It should automatically do it.
What do we start out for V-Day?
We'll find out if you've...
Oh, gotcha. Oh, we have to roll for it, don't we?
Roll for it, yeah.
Mentor starting at 1. I'm going to add more dots later.
Okay, so you've asked the question. What I would do is 1. Have you all picked your merits, or have an idea of what you're doing for merits?
I have.
Yep.
So I have a couple more dots to apply, but yeah.
Okay. Do any of you have the feeding grounds merit?
No.
I thought about it, but then also I don't think my character has the power to enforce it.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I'm treating mine as a brand new turn, so...
Okay, so you can all roll a d10. In fact, you can all roll 2d10.
Boy. Well, we're off to a great start.
Okay. Well,
this doesn't bode well for me. Honestly, it kind of tracks with the character.
Your starting vitae is the lowest number of those 2 die.
Oh boy.
Oh, 2. Well,
So
I've got 1.
Some of you are...
How do you mark your vitae?
You click on
Just
it.
With the X?
It, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, some of you are very hungry. Maybe you haven't fed recently.
Dun, dun, dun.
Work's been busy.
I sacrificed one of my resource points for my mentor, so...
Okay. Your willpower is the sum of your resolve and composure.
In the boxes?
So it should automatically calculate it as well.
Okay, so is it the dots in there, or is it in the
Your
boxes.
Your willpower should just be the number of dots you have in both of those. So it's the sum of your
If you
resolve
spend
and
it,
composure.
you will click on it.
And then, if
Okay.
you're spending a dot of willpower, you would just click on it.
Yeah, I was just asking because it says to click on it and it does the X on the boxes. So I was just.
Yeah.
And we're answering. Yep.
Your defense, I think this is one that you do have to put in yourself. Not sure. Need to.
I think mine's automatically calculated
Yeah,
as well.
I can't do my
Okay,
defense.
so it should just calculate these for you then in that case. So the defense is the sum of the lower of your dexterity or wit and athletics. So that does it automatically. Speed is the size of is the sum of your size and your strength and dex. And I think armor is pretty rare. Probably won't have that. Your initiative automatically calculates. Bloodlines we're not really worrying about. It's probably a good idea to have a note somewhere of whatever your bane is. Your bane is based off of your plan.
Yeah.
I have a special bane.
You do, and I.
So do I.
Okay. That's pretty much the sheet side of things sorted. If you did take Theban sorcery, I can't remember. Like, if you have a dot in that, I think it gives you access to
Rituals.
Yeah. So there will be, if you have one dot, you have access to these type thing in there. So feel free to go and check that out. I did want to just very quickly go through a few other things, which we can cover in a bit more detail. But first of all, you guys are going to be operating in an area, initially at least, towards the southwest of the city, in an area that is... Okay, I made a name for it and everything. I can't remember. The Lombardia Ward is the area that you in. The Lombardia Ward is run by what's called a regent. Now, this is... I need to explain the setup of a city first before any of that makes sense. So, welcome to New London. New London is obviously a bustling city. There are millions of people that live here. In terms of kindred society, it is run by an individual known as Prince Mary. Prince is a title given to the vampiric leader of the territory. It is not a prince, princess. It is a prince is the title. In this case, Mary is an Invictus, and she has her set up in the center of town in an area called New Canary Wharf. It's essentially high-rise business district, lots of wealth, lots of money, and she rules from there. You will be operating in one of the 27 districts which make up this city, and as I said, the district is the Lombardia Ward. It is also probably worth noting that there are a few things that all kindred should be aware of. These would be known as the rules of the city, essentially. There are 3 that apply to all kindred worldwide. These are known as the traditions. The first tradition is you do not reveal your true nature to those not of the blood. Doing so forfeits your claim to the blood. Essentially, if you fuck up and let people find out about vampires, you're going to die. That's it. Or go very hungry to the point where you'll go to sleep for a very, 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 very long time. The second tradition is called the progeny. Sire another at the peril of both yourself and your progeny. If you create a child or childer, the weight is your own to bear. TLDR, if you sire another kindred, they are your responsibility for anything they fuck up. So you are forever tied to them should they do anything bad. Which is why you don't see people going and siring here, there, and everywhere. And usually, to be respectful, people would probably speak to the prince about siring a new vampire if they had someone in mind. The third tradition, and again, this is the worldwide rules, is called the Amaranth, and it says, you are forbidden from devouring the heart's blood of another of your kind. If you violate this commandment, the beast calls to your own blood. If you're caught feeding on the lifeblood of another vampire to the point where they find true death, then trouble is coming your way. You'll probably be hunted down and killed. Although Moosehorn's out of character, a lot of the elder vampires can only subsist on feeding on other vampires, basically. So there's like a weird situation there. Only vampire blood is strong enough to sustain them at that point because their blood potency is super, super high. There are some extra rules which you will be aware of as a resident of the city. These are laws that are set out and enforced by the prince. Number 1, the prince is your judge for all laws. 2, the traditions shall be the law of the land. Basically, adhere to rules 1, 2, and 3 of the worldwide traditions. 3, Elysium is sacred. Violation of Elysium is as heinous as a violation of any tradition. Elysium is essentially a area of ground that has been deemed safe for kindred to feed in, and not kind of it's like a safe haven, but for feeding on. A kindred's haven is their own. Violation of a haven is the same as violation of Elysium. So basically, if you do go into a vampire's safe space and you cause damage, they have every right to petition the prince to enforce Elysium rules, essentially. Those are the rules. I can put them into Discord just so that you have them as a reference. Sorry, Amy. I'm sorry. There you go. Now, your particular area, as I've said, is the Lombardia ward. Now, the prince might rule over the city at large, but they have access to a council of regents who essentially manage the city's territories. You will be predominantly based in the Lombardia ward, which is in the southwest of the city. This is not particularly an unpleasant area, but it's certainly not the high hustle and bustle area of the financial district. So there is a healthy mix of office areas here. You're very close to the territory that the Lancare Sanctum own. You are on the coast, so there are lots of beachfront properties here. So whilst the northern areas of the Lombardia ward are kind of breaching into the high-rise fancy areas, you're also kind of got within your territory kind of harbors, businesses, and starting to bleed into potential residential areas as well. The regent within your particular area is an individual known as Blythe Corsetti. And the hook for you guys is that they're going to summon you. Simple as. They are the top dog in your particular area of the world, and each of you will be individually summoned to discuss a matter that has come to their attention. You will be probably aware of Blythe, at least who they are, if not having maybe met them in person, but they are a lord of this territory, essentially. And
All right.
outside of that, yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess the only real sort of things I would say is that you're each going to be contacted separately, told to attend a meeting in Lombardi Awards regarding a matter that has already drawn police attention. That is going to be our character launch into the session 1 at least. What I will say, though, is that this is a game where information is power. What you choose to reveal will matter just as much as what you discover. So, outside of that, questions? What do we need to know? Do we need to establish anything before session 1? I have read through the backstories, so if there's any characters in particular you need to be set up, if there is, for example, the pub where Jordan works, we need to establish where that is.
Is it cool for my safe space to be same as my touchstone, which is like the house of my birth?
Yes.
I put 2 points in safe space, but I was thinking it would probably be set up by my mentor.
Okay.
Which is
Yeah,
my sire. You know who that is, Zhang.
Okay.
So
Your sire is your mentor.
it is my mentor. I was, and I'm going to put more points in it when I can. But
Okay, that's fine.
but I was thinking that would be a good place to put them, considering who they are. So.
Yeah, I understand. Yep, that sounds good.
the way I see it, my sire bought the house out eventually and just gave it to me eventually.
Okay.
Can I just say it's really, I picked my mask, right, and my bane, and a couple of my merits. I could feed my mask with some of these. If that makes sense. Because my mask is just like ignore a problem or responsibility in favor of immediate gratification. For a single willpower.
So, maybe a bit of geography about the locations in the city might help, or just things that you would certainly be aware of. The city, I think at last count, the city was home to give or take 50 million individuals. So it is big. It's certainly expanded upon the city that's there currently, which has a considerably reduced number. This is essentially like a London-sized city. On the western side of the river, you have towards the top the university. You then have like a large area that is devoted to the Parliament and the Chambers for New Europe. You then have like a large... Can you see the purple territory, like the colored territories on your version of the map?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
So,
Invictus Prince territory?
say again, sorry?
It's the Invictus/Prince territory?
Correct. So the big kind of pinky purple slab of territory is essentially under Invictus control. The red area to the west of that is Circle of the Crone territory. You then have the blue area around the Parliament is the territory for the Carthian movement. The Order Dracul is the second biggest group, and they're on the other side. Now, what I will say is on the east side of the river, you have more of an industrial vibe to the area. To the south of that, there is a big pharmatech sort of chemical plant factory, and then there is a like an observatory on the sort of southern point of that landmass. There's a large airport to the east, and then there is kind of those of you who are familiar with the werewolf game, the areas of Whiskey Lake, Whiskey Auto, Whiskey Park are the stomping grounds for the local werewolf tribe. You then have a circular tube station network that basically feeds the city. So that exists, and then you have right at the bottom, the Lancea Sanctum have a small corner of the lands out. Your territories, as I've stated, are more of a mixed bag that you're currently in. Oh, excuse me. But no less important. The city itself is made up of 27 different districts, the Lombardia ward being just one of those. And there is a rich and vibrant mix of cultures, all pseudo-European cultures. So you could find Lombardia ward is kind of Italian influenced, but there are other areas that are kind of more Parisian. There's areas that are kind of very British influenced. There's areas that are very Scandinavian, and kind of that type of vibe. So they have kind of cultural roots in that regard.
When you say Lombardia ward, is this just this whole area?
So can you see the yellow line kind of around?
Okay.
That's the Lombardia ward. Yeah, the one
that
down
section. There. Okay. Because for some reason, when you said Lombardia ward, my brain was just taking it all. Like this whole section is like one part of it. Okay.
So that's kind of a bit more about that. I can't remember if I told you more about the world stuff. It is near future. There are. I don't want to go through the crazy big stuff there, but the ACOM is the pharmatech company on the eastern side of the river. ACOM is a result of the merger between the giants Microsoft and Amazon. They're one of the big three corporations that run much of North America. Most products are ordered through the ACOM website, and delivery is usually by drone. There are some...
Are we able to... Go ahead, sorry.
No, what was the question?
Are we able to start out with any equipment, like weapons or...
I would say you have access to basic stuff. What weapons were you thinking about?
Just a basic revolver.
Do you have resources?
2 resources, it costs 2.
Yep, that's fine then.
Cool.
Sorry, I don't mean to yawn. It just happens.
Yeah. I imagine my resources went down after I was embraced because I lost my rich parents.
That's fair.
How important is languages?
English will be the dominant language here, but there may be others that are used conversationally. It was kind of adopted as the universal language to fit in, not just with the fact that most people in Europe had English as a second language anyway, and then also given that they're a territory nestled within what is the North American continent, it made sense to just retain that as the primary. I have had people historically utilize Latin as a language, amongst others. But yeah, I mean, there's potential that kind of thing could crop up. What were you thinking?
I was thinking of taking language Italian and pairing it with the false identity.
Okay, yep.
To basically have someone like a different, because the idea is
persona. Yeah.
Like the concept is I want him to be someone who is embedded in both the like police world and very much the less savory places. Just a lying sneak who...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the dots that I've picked, so...
Oh, yeah, I get it, yep. What's the red square, guys? Just out of curiosity.
Red square?
Oh, I was going to ask, I didn't want to interrupt. So you said this area here is the where we based it, right? This yellow outline.
Correct. Yes.
Right. Would it be okay to have the bar here?
Yep, absolutely fine. I was going to ask you where you want it to be. You are somewhat close to a tube station, there, a couple of blocks away, and you are going to be. That side of the ward is kind of leaning more into the like the business district, which is the further north you go, the higher the buildings are. So you're kind of on the edge of the business district, so that would be pretty good for a bar. People coming out from after work drinks or lunch. So yeah, absolutely. I'll get the name and everything added onto the map for you. Oh,
Also,
I'm so sorry. I promise you, I'm not bored with talking about stuff. It's just it's late for me.
Trying to think of a place where my house would be.
What I will say is this is a very rich area of the city as well. So when I say the residential area this seeps into, this is expensive properties. Not quite as expensive as the area up towards New Canary Wharf and the Parliament areas, like on the waterfront up there. But this is definitely like villas and that kind of thing in this area. There might even be like a golf course here too.
actually, I need to bring up about merits, right?
Okay.
So you said you mentioned that using family is basically could possibly open up for them to be used or manipulated.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Right. So if I use this, if I use a merit for status with the police because he has a member of his family is in the police force.
Yep.
Would that still open it up for manipulation and such?
Oh, everything is open for manipulation. Absolutely.
Okay.
Just
So
if it can be used against you in any way, shape, or form, yeah. You're dealing with vampires plotting, scheming, and looking for leverage wherever it can be found is their MO. So you will definitely like it's just an unfortunate thing of vampiric society. They might not use that leverage, but they'll certainly let you know that they are aware of it and have it and use it to make you more compliant in what they may or may not want you to do.
all right. So with that being said, then I'm just trying to think of George. Sorry, George is my dog. He's being very needy right now. He wants pets and he's trying to get underneath my desk.
That's fair.
So
That is absolutely fair.
anyway, so what he does, right? Like, just a little segue here. So when he wants something from you, he doesn't bark or make noises or anything, but what he does is he sticks his cold nose on your like leg or your underarm, so it's just this like cold shock.
Leo started to just rest a head on your knee. Very cute.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he does that too, and it's just like, just pet me. I'll just stand here.
Witness me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so having one dot in status is like potentially you could be like a casual informant as well. But yeah, you have a tie to them. And
Okay. Because I was thinking of maybe because I have a dot that I don't know where to put, and I'm just thinking maybe just adding another dot to status.
understand?
Yeah.
What I will say is on your specializations, add in brackets which skill they relate to.
Oh yeah.
So they're not like
You need longer lines.
Yeah, I know. They're not an all-encompassing thing. They are just a specific specialization within a particular skill. So yeah, exactly that. So investigation, insight would be where you, geez, oh, yeah, you're going to be very good at that shit. Okay.
So I'm kind of basing the stereotype, like the bartender stereotype, because I myself have experienced this in my line of work before I stopped working in the hospitality industry, where people just talk to you about anything.
Yep.
Literally anything. And you would be like the most mundane conversation, and they'll slip in. It's like, oh, yeah, I cheated on my wife. And you're just like, dude, what the fuck? I did not need to know this shit. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Why did you just dump this on me? What do you want me to say to this?
Emotional damage.
So how does the specializations work? Do you just get like a +1?
So yeah,
Basically,
for
yeah.
your specialization, you basically get an extra die when you are
If
able
you
to
take,
utilize it.
Yeah, if you take the merit area of expertise, and for one of those, you can add an extra die to it to make it a +2 instead of a +1.
Okay, instead of a +1, so...
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Let's just say, example, I'm going to use my trained observer and my insight specialization investigation, right? So I can 9 again with an additional dice roll.
I couldn't get
It's-
trained observer. I didn't have
So
the...
it's a
It's-
prerequisite.
Observer only applies to
Yeah.
perception.
It's
What's
all-
composure, right?
Say again, sorry. I don't off the top of my head. I don't know. So there will be a lot of this where we start doing rolls, and it's like, what the fuck does that mean? Where do we do this? So I will be relying on you guys to have if you've got a merit in something, it might be on you to tell me what that merit does, or at least tell me where I can find the merit to look at. Because as we've already established, the book is horrible.
I copied and
Yeah.
pasted it all into my sheet, so I can just copy and paste it for
What I
you.
would
So-
say is where you've copied and pasted it, also put a page number for where you'll find it in the book as well.
I just want to know why they insist on making the main titles for each individual merit, skill, and whatever in cursive.
Because it's fancy.
Flavor.
I already got out of the book, so
Yeah,
if
because-
someone can
like-
find where the Bane's, Dirge, Mask, and merits are, I can just
Like,
pop it on.
What I
I
will
can-
also
I
say
can
is
just
wits
discern it,
composure
but,
gets
like-
used a lot. Okay. Sorry,
You did-
wits composure, resolve composure.
Wits.
oh,
composure.
sorry, yes, sorry, yeah.
It's
True
perception.
observer.
I got wits and
Trained observer
manipulation.
uses perception. Yeah.
So
I did
Yeah.
put down page numbers for a lot of stuff too
thank you.
in chat.
Yeah.
So.
I don't have a lot of resolve or composure. I've only got 1 point in empathy, but my specialization, I did put people watcher for observance, so I can get a +1 for my
That kind of
empathy.
works though. I think for a bit of a socialite, you might not necessarily have much. By the way,
I got
of
3
kind
in socialize though.
of the will.
You know, like I imagine, like if you don't need empathy to socialize. You can be a stone cold.
Well, empathy is more so
bitch.
I can read the body language. That's what it's got listed under there.
But you wouldn't be able to
so that-
read the.
But I've
body
got
language
3 in subterfuge, so don't worry about that.
from a. Can we be able to
Oh, we got a couple
read
of
the-
liars here. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I've got a kiss of the succubus as well. So.
I thought you would take that. I was gonna base it to
Yeah.
you. I was like, this is totally Sammy.
So
And I took etiquette and enticing and striking looks. God help you all.
so
Say hello to our face.
is
Say hello
everyone
to
crashing at
design.
my place because I've got resources to safe place to haven to?
It might be. Now that is something that is probably a good
I got
idea.
resource 2 and safe place 2 as well.
That is probably something before we do have to sort of consider wrapping up for today. If any of you do or are aware of each other, especially if your circles overlap, or there is overlap, it's entirely up to you. You can be completely unknown entities to each other. You are operating in quite a large territory. As I said, in the city as a whole, there are 50+ million people living here.
Everyone is a face in the crowd.
So
but
it is a big place, but the number of kindred in the same place is not obviously that high.
Yeah.
So
Imagine 50 million vampires in one city. It'll be absolutely.
If anyone wants to
nuts.
have come across me, because I will be looking for my sire, so you might have come across me.
it's just a consideration, and you don't necessarily have to make that decision now. I'm just saying the opportunity is there. You will all be residents of the same district, and you know it's definitely possible that you might have crossed paths. So there is opportunity there. Equally, you could just come into it as a bit of a lone wolf, having kind of just done your own thing and not really wanted to engage with others of your kind.
I'm new.
Imagine
I'm new
like
here.
people who are like more nicely inclined towards mortals would send people to me to help out. Like if you feel like bad for someone who's lost someone, and you're like, "Well, I know
Nope.
someone who could help you out with that."
Okay,
that'd be
I
me.
will not have seen Sass's character.
You don't know me then.
Oh, I might have come to you to get information from you, but I
Could
wouldn't have sent like
Whether or
someone
not I
to
gave you the information is another story, but yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan is the average Joe of the group. He doesn't know anybody of you. He just works in the bar.
Question about your bar. Does your
Yes.
bar... So one thing that Kindred... you should know about with Kindred is that when it comes to like regular food and drink, you cannot consume it properly. Like it doesn't work. But you can kind of get around it. One, you can use a point of Vitae, I think use a point of Vitae to
Vitae
do
to fake
something
it?
called
Yeah.
the blush, and essentially allows you to mimic being human. You know, you get heat in your limbs. You don't feel cold to the touch. You have like a blush to your cheeks, so you don't look like you're dead. Alternatively, you can put blood into food or drink to make it palatable, so that you don't instantly like vomit it up, basically. Although if you do go ahead and like eat stuff, you will be voiding it at some point, like a fucking owl, or you know, you just bring up this pellet of food later on. So adding blood to things basically means that you can kind of enjoy the flavor, the taste, and things like that. If you don't, it will basically be very discomforting, and you will be inclined to bring it back up quite quickly. But hang on, one other important thing.
Okay.
You can enjoy substances through others' blood. So
Nice.
if
Get 'em
So
drunk.
if you snack on someone that's drunk, you're also going to get drunk.
you'll get a little
Catholic
bit of
school girl.
correct. So that's where I'm going to. So for those of you who don't know, which is the boys, there is a bit of a, well, he's a gross individual, but there is a supplier of fine wines aimed at the kindred society, shall we say, and he's a bit of a chunky boy. I don't think
Oh,
I've got,
him.
I don't think I've got him.
Oh,
He's
I
in the
see.
reference, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is. He looks like a penguin, is what he
He
makes.
does
you
look a
think.
little bit like Penguin. But he basically will supply
An
you with kind of like,
NPC reference.
yeah. He's got access to lots of different things. He's got like a warehouse. If you're familiar with like Del Boy, he's kind of a bit of that type of character, but more of a businessman. He can supply you with fine animal vintages. Alternatively, there are certain other vintages of blood wines, specifically Catholic schoolgirl. You can have the
Junkie.
the what?
Junkie, yeah, that was
The
one.
junkie. Yep, the junkie is one. Gold digger is another one. There's like a variety
Priest?
of them.
No, not priest.
So after your blood potency goes up, like at 3, you stop being able to take nourishment from animals.
Correct. Yes.
Can you still get high off of drugged animal blood?
I would say yes, but I think so. I think. hang on. Let me just double check. 'cause
It's no longer nutritious to you.
Yeah, I was just
it
gonna say you can definitely get the high off of it, but you would not get any kind of nutritional value. I don't think there is a disadvantage to it. You're just not going to get full from it. Not mechanically
Okay.
speaking. You're
Well,
not
this
gonna
was more of
recover
a
DT.
cheap bottle of vodka type situation rather.
Oh, like you're gonna sorry to paint the image. You like inject a rat full of like vodka and then snack on it.
That is precisely what I mean.
Yep.
But
Nice.
I was
this is a
gonna say
hypothetical. I
heroin,
don't
but,
think
you
that's
know.
actually relevant to my character, but that is a hypothetical that I was curious about.
You know what?
It sounds good, so yeah, fuck it. I like it.
I feel like Seraphina's gonna just start referring to drunk humans as blood wine. That's it.
So I imagine all of us as low-ranking individuals that can drink blood from animals are going to this local snake vendor and buying mice. Like,
Pinkies. Mm.
ooh, delicious pinkies, baby
You,
mouse.
you don't have Jello shots. You have pinkies. Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
no!
Yes.
Oh, that's foul.
It's nasty.
C's random question: what kind of bar do you have? Is it like one of those like club type bars, or is it just like a sit and chill
Jazz
kind of bar?
bar.
Cozy
is-
bar.
Or is it like you go down like those roads in the middle of nowhere and there's that bar in the middle of nowhere?
So it is a sort of like it is a traditional, like old 1950s leather-bound seats gentleman's bar without like the strippers and all that sort of stuff. It's like you sit down, you have a nice scotch, etc. But because of the location, a lot of people go there because it is affordable, and people spend most of the time there to drown their sorrows because it's close to a business district, and business people are typically very high strung and need to relax, and they have a lot of problems
And a lot of money.
and a lot of money. Yeah.
Then you might or might not have seen my character once in a while, not regularly.
Yeah, I'll probably have no idea who you are, but you probably
I don't
had...
show up on your CCTV.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Sorry. Generally speaking, vampires have a natural ability to... So, the mirrors thing technically happens, but that also affects, like, visual technology. So, Kindred on cameras will appear distorted or glitchy, which is explained away by technical problems, but essentially...
But Sass is just invisible.
I'm just
There
invisible,
is-
yeah.
There is more
Think of
to
it
it
like
with...
there's a very old CCTV camera, but like again, like it is an old bar, and it is basically a camera attached to like a tape player in the back room.
I imagine
Oh,
Sis has the
TV.
camera to just identify the humans. That's it. That's what it's there for. Identify the humans.
Yeah, and like and the Nuva's like, I'm just saying, like Maeve is just like, why aren't you like, why haven't you seen you on camera? I was like, oh shit, yeah, it's been down for most of the day. Like, I don't know what's to go with it. Like, I'm not good with computers.
Yeah.
He's smart enough to know what to do and how to explain it away because it's run by an old, like, dude that's been alive since the 1950s. Like, hello.
Okay, here, I found my
Hey,
list.
okay.
Sorry, I found
It's
my
went
list.
very quiet.
No, I was trying to think like with my obfuscate if
The big guy is known as Lilybell.
Oh god, yeah, that's
and
right.
he can supply you with the following animal bloods. So if your bar caters to kindred as well as humans, eat food, cattle.
Thing is, he didn't know that the bar catered to some kindred until he
It's
became a
the
kindred.
secret menu. So the secret
Yeah.
menu can potentially include the following animal blood. So charger from rhinos, old grey, which is elephant, tatanka, which is buffalo, black stripe, which is tiger, mamba, which is snake, or nibbler, which is a mixed blend of rodent. There are human bloods as well. Gold digger, which is from a 19-year-old blonde. Old bastard, which is basically rich old man blood, tied to gold digger. Catholic schoolgirl, obviously. Old beggar or old mate, again, name speaks for itself. The nun, anime cosplayer, librarian, porn star, concubine.
Anime cosplay.
Yeah. Porn star, concubine, nympho, admiral, addict / rock star, or red shirt guy.
The red
The
shirt.
hepatitis gives it a nice spike.
Absolutely. So those will be available on the secret menu at varying supplies levels.
So, question of
There is a
since I am
background.
starting with one Vitae,
Mm-hmm.
how much blood do I need to have to get nourishment?
You feed. It's random what you get based on it's one of the stats of whatever you're feeding from.
So, ordering a Bloody Mary with a shot of the nibblers is not going to do it.
So I've said in the previous campaign, you can have one vitae back per session from like animal blood or human blood wines. Strictly speaking, I don't think you're supposed to gain vitae back from them, but it was just a fun quirk. Fuck it, that kind of vibe. So yes, you will be able to gain one vitae from consuming a glass, a bottle, a crate of one of these wines. You will be able to gain no more than one, and you will need to go feed for the. One thing on feeding scenes, I like to kind of do them a bit more narratively, unless there is reason to have to worry about dice rolls. So I tend to go for more of a thematic feeding as opposed to let's roll some dice and find out how scared and all that stuff. Like, we just go with whatever fits for the roleplay to smooth that scene around, which
I'd
has
like to
worked quite well.
say, but I don't know, narratively speaking, or just like how the bar runs. I'd like to say, I don't know if it works like this. I'd like to say that the bar itself has this like attracts people to it in a weird way. Like it attracts those that have some sort of deep-seated sorrow or secret attached to them.
Yep.
Is that a thing?
So, in not so much in Vampire, but in an example of this would be, this is the same world, so yes. But in Werewolf, you have these things called spirits, and spirits are associated with names or places or things. So you might have a spirit of woes or comforts or something that basically inhabits your bar, and it feeds off of the energy basically that comes in, and in turn attracts that to the bar. Now, vampires aren't aware of spirits particularly, like they don't really mix with them, even though they're undead. Spirits are more, they're not necessarily, spirits aren't necessarily a dead thing. They're more kind of like a resonance of a particular type of feeling or a vibe or something that has gained kind of like, there is a spirit of the Hollywood sign, for example, because enough people know the Hollywood sign as what it is, like it's well known. There's a spirit.
Oh, it's the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, like people know what it is, they're aware of it, they think about it, like and
We had the baseball guy in one too.
Yeah.
And the maid.
That's the guy. It's the baseball guy on the card.
correct.
No, so I was trying to think of a way like why would humans go to this bar than to any other bar? Because business districts especially have bars for business
absolutely.
people.
So
Like, why would people go to this bar and not to another one? I was thinking, well, something has to draw them there.
Yeah.
What specific kind of people would it draw? Well, people with secrets or woes or some kind of secret that they're withholding, and that's how, I suppose, that's how Jordan became what he is, because
Absolutely,
these
yeah.
people were divulging secrets to him.
it would be a
as
very
a
subtle
person.
thing. It would be a subtle thing if there was a bar spirit or whatever there. But
Oh,
absolutely,
you wouldn't know
100%.
about it, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's some
it
sort
would-
of like magnet.
Well, no, I mean, it would be like a subtle like attraction of that kind of thing. You know, people will walk past and be like, "Oh, shit, you know, I've got to take a load off. Let's just go and share my woes in here." You know, as they're walking past, they kind of just get oh yeah, let's go.
Oh, I've
do
never.
that."
Yeah, let's go there. Yeah.
So that would definitely explain that if there was one there, and I don't really have a problem with it. You know, we've established in this world that werewolves exist, and as such, you know, such things can be explained quite easily by that kind of thing. So yeah, totally would make sense that would be that.
Cool.
IMO.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Like I was just like I was just like, okay.
What I will say though, on that theme of thinking, the area over here, on the opposite side of the river where the observatory is, that kind of has a vibe for kindred, at least, that you're aware of, that they tend to stay away from that. Like, you think about, oh yeah, I'd like to go to the observatory. Actually, you know what? Weather's not that great. Not actually that bothered. We'll do it another day. Or, you know, you get close to it and then you kind of forget what you were doing and head back home. Like, there's definitely like a brain fog or like a repelling force for supernatural creatures, shall we say, from in and around the observatory, not from a spiritual reason. You've played the game, so you might have an understanding of what's going on there.
Oh, it's fucking magic shenanigans there.
Hell yeah.
That's the thing, right? So vampires have their own little political like circles that, you know, they just wage, you know, like turf wars and everything. Mages just fuck with everything.
Yep.
Oh, mages.
So, out of character, there's a mage sanctum in the observatory. However, there is also repelling magic for any kindred that go in, like anywhere near it. They instantly repelled, forgetful of why they want to go there. They just you don't bother with it.
You don't fuck with mages.
No.
Like they'll just literally just.
But
rewrite
nobody
you into
knows that
something
there's
else.
mages there. Is the other, like, it's.
Are vampires aware of the existence of human mages?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Because
Supernatural
I imagine
creatures are aware of each other.
Because I imagine vampires would be shit scared of human mages because of what they're capable of doing.
Everyone should be shit scared of the mages. Everyone should be afraid of them. Mages are disgustingly powerful. They're not like a wizard in D&D. They literally rip apart the fabric of reality to cast spells and risk essentially risk the fucking demise of the world every single time. So yeah, mages are like uber powerful. Disgustingly so.
Yeah, don't go over there. But I just
Uh,
need to know that they're just chilling in the middle of like a vampire territory.
Yeah, they
going
didn't give a
with
fuck.
their little experiments.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck.
Oh, vampires, them again. Just chill them off the door. You know, get them off our door. You know, sweep them away. Go away.
So we are a little bit over. Are there any last minute questions? If there's any that pop up between now and next Friday, feel free to drop me a message. Obviously, we can flesh things out in the interim. But that's unless there's any questions, that could be it for today. Okay,
All right.
sounds
I'm
good.
now that things are more fleshed out, and I think
Oh.
I'm very excited to start.
There's a lot to go. So the reason why I have session zeros on this game, or this type of game in particular, is that it's very different mechanically to anything that we already do, and two, the character creation is very in depth, especially when you're going through it for the first time or haven't done it for a while. I'm sure that there are people who do this all the time and can flat out a character sheet in 5 minutes, but there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to consider. So I think it's always good, especially for these games, to have this session zero to kind of figure stuff out. But that will be it for today. Thank you guys for being here and sticking with it. Thank you guys for hanging out in the chat. Very much appreciated. Please do like, share, subscribe, use your YouTube platitudes, and do drop us a comment below. We do read every single one. If you want to get into the good habit, if there are any comments that do give out a community beat, tell me who you think deserves it, and we'll get that allocated at the start of next session. That's it for today. We will be back on Sunday for some more Lost World shenanigans. So until then, please do take it easy and take it twice. Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend.